Today we are solving for literal equations. Literal equations are formulas or equations with multiple variables in them. When it says solve for a particular variable, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a number answer. It just means that you're going to isolate that particular variable. So our first problem says to solve for x in a times x plus b equals c. We are going to focus in on getting that x by itself. So you think about all the things that you did when you had to get the absolute value by itself, the solving equation processes. And the first thing that we're going to do is to look for add and subtract, and we have an add b. So we're going to subtract b from both sides. Now b and c are not like terms, so they are not going to combine together. We're just going to write them side by side as c minus b. Then we have still the x that we want to get by itself, and a is being multiplied to it. And remember, whenever two things in math are touching each other, that's multiplication. So we need to get rid of multiplication with division. And the a's are gone, and now we have solved for x. We have isolated x. It's all by itself. C minus b all over a. Now you have notes in front of you, and you should have copied this process down with me. We will be doing that throughout 5 more problems, so make sure you're taking the time to copy each part as we go along. So our next problem, it says to solve for f. Right now it's solved for s because s is alone by itself. Like in number 1, c was all by itself. So this time we're going to solve for f. We're going to focus in on this f and we're going to move things away from it. Now sometimes in literal equations we do have numbers with them, but we only combine things that we can combine. So just like we subtracted b over here because there was an add b, we're going to subtract 24. And we're going to isolate f, and it's going to be on the right side. And I know that a lot of you want to put things always over onto and isolate on the left side, but this time it's going to be on the right, and I don't want you to rearrange the problem in any way to make it comfortable for you. Just going to leave it the way it is. So we have s minus 24 is equal to 3 times f. And then to get rid of multiplication, just like we divided by a over on problem number 1, we're going to divide by 3 here. So you can see your final answer is right here. It's s minus 24 all over 3. And that is what is equal to f. F has been isolated or solved for. Now, literal equations are often used in geometry or in science classes. So it says, what is the formula for the area of a triangle? So write down A is equal to 1/2 base times height. All 3 of these things are being multiplied together. The half times the b times the h. So if you want to, you can put the dot there for multiplication to help you make sure that you know what operation you will use to undo. So we're going to solve for h, so I've left h as red. These are all multiplications, so I would probably just work in order from left to right. I have a fraction, so to get rid of a fraction, you have to multiply by its reciprocal, and the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1, or just 2. You can write 2 over 1 if you want to. I'm going to write 2 with a, but if you want to write 2 over 1, that way you know both of the numerator and denominators will cancel each other out. So now we have 2a on the left side. Let me change my color on my a to keep it consistent. And then on the left side, we have b being multiplied to h. Okay, so our last step on here is how do I get rid of division? or multiplication, we're going to divide, and you can see your answer has just shown up on this left side over here. 2a divided by b is equal to h. And we have solved for h. We have isolated h. Nothing combined in this, just like it didn't combine on the first problem. All right, next problem. It says, what is the formula for the perimeter of a triangle? Perimeter of a triangle is equal to twice the length plus twice the width. Here we're going to solve for w. So we need to get w by itself. Now we can notice that I made the 2 and the L the same color. We're going to leave them grouped together. We don't need to move them one at a time. We can move this as a group. So we are going to subtract the 2L from the left, or from the right, and from the left. Now P and 2L are not like terms, so we are not going to combine them together. I'm just going to write P minus 2L next to each other. And then we're left with 2 times W. And then we have seen this multiple times. We're going to divide by 2. And now W has been solved for. W is equal to P minus 2L all over 2. Final answer, W has been isolated or solved for. All right, what is the formula for density? Density, or D, is equal to M over V. So it says we're going to solve the above formula for V. So how do we work a problem like this when the variable is in the bottom? A little bit more challenging when we have to move a variable that we're trying to solve for out of the bottom. So what you have to do on this is I could make D over 1, and then I could do cross multiplication. Anytime you have to solve for a variable, you have to get it out of the bottom before you can get it by itself. So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to multiply D times V. So dV is equal to M times 1. So that's just going to be M. Okay, now that V is out of the denominator, all I have to do is divide by D. And when I divide by D, the D's cancel out, and we're left with our variable solved for. V is equal to M divided by D. You might notice what happened with the D and the V. If you notice, all they did was trade places. That really does happen. They will just trade places, and that's a common thing that you will see in an upper level math course somewhere where you have a variable in the denominator and you have to isolate it, and it just trades places sometimes with the variable if it's isolated by itself over on the other side. So V is equal to M over D. Last problem that will work together, and then you'll flip your notes over and you will work the problems on the back, solving for different variables at different times. So it says, what is the formula for the area of a trapezoid? So this is a little bit more complicated than what you've seen because we have a half, and this time we have a set of parentheses. And then this, they put the times there. That just means multiplied to h. So we're going to solve for b sub 1. We need to get this guy all by itself. So the first thing we need to do is move the things away from the parentheses. We could distribute it if you want to, but I think it would be a little bit more efficient if we just got rid of the half and the h, and then the parentheses would fall off. So first, to get rid of the half, we did this before. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2. So we have 2a is equal to, and then we have our b sub 1 plus b sub 2 being multiplied to h. Now remember, we're getting the b sub 1 by itself. We still have something outside of our parentheses, and we need to, it's being multiplied, so we are going to divide both sides by h. The h's disappear, so we're left with 2a over h is equal to, now there's nothing left with the parentheses. It's just the b sub 1 plus the b sub 2. So the parentheses can now fall away. So we'll have b sub 1 plus b sub 2. And then finally, we need to get rid of the b sub 2 so that b sub 1 is by itself. And we'll subtract b sub 2 and b sub 2. Why did I write a b right there? I do not know. Let me erase this and put an H there in black. All right, so there we go. So we have 2a over h minus b sub 2. Those are not like terms, so don't try and put them all together. All you're going to have is 2a all over h subtracting b sub 2, and that's equaling b sub 1. b sub 1 is all by itself. Now I could do this a little bit differently. I could distribute, but again, it's going to cause a lot of extra work and we might have some errors. So it's better just to move the things away from the parentheses, similar to when you had an absolute value and you had to move things away from the absolute value. Just ignore the stuff inside until the absolute value was gone, or until the absolute value bars could be gone, and wrote two problems. Here, we're just going to pretend like the stuff inside there is not there, and you just ignore the, or just work on moving this stuff away from the outside. And that is solving literal equations. All right, this is your worksheet that's on the back of your notes. You have 3 things to do for each problem. Number 1 says V is equal to L times W times H. So the first problem says solve for L. The next one says solve for W. The last one solves for H. So you have 3 problems to do for each one. I would like you to have at least the first 4 problems done. Your substitute will collect this at the end of the class, and then we will answer any questions you have tomorrow, and we will finish the worksheet tomorrow in class. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.